County Commissioner.
Running for office isn't something we ventured into lightly. Zach's commitment to service didn't end when he got out of the U.S. Navy SEAL team.
Lori Winter is a homeless, hating, low-life piece of shit. She doesn't understand the struggle. She's never been homeless herself. In fact, she's got rental property, and she wants everybody else to cut their grass and make sure they keep their weeds and all that straight, which, you know, everybody should. But she wasn't doing that on her own rental property. And rent is, God, that's criminal. Isn't rent just fucking crime? I mean, if you're a tenant of Lori Winter's, does she take your $500, $600, $700 or $1,000 every month and actually make your life better? Does she cut the grass? Does she fix up the equipment? Or does she just take the fucking money and say, fuck you, and then, you know, go spend it on a bunch of cocaine? $1,000 a month? Rent should be a crime. There used to be savings and loan places that wanted to get people actually into home ownership. But if you're going to have people in power like Lori Winters, they're going to keep on renting to people. They don't want you to own a house because they want to keep on robbing you every fucking month of your, 60% of your wealth?
State Fair General Manager Chris Wiseman. Let me take you back to 1996. Governor Romer at the time brought you on board. And from 96 forward, you've had a heck of a career here at the Colorado State Fair.
Right. I didn't actually become a State Fair employee till 1998 when Bob Jackson asked.
Have Lori Winter, right? Lori Winter, I don't know if she's a Republican or not, but she has a heartless policy of barbecuing the homeless the ribs on Saturday. She don't give a shit about their lives. She doesn't care for their security or their safety. She doesn't believe they're citizens of this country, and therefore they're not due any due process, nor any food, water, clothing, shelter, the basics of life. She thinks that they're, in fact, only a Lori Winter could see a poor white male homeless person and say, look at that privileged white male. Oh my God, Lori Winter, you're the one that's on top. This entire society is all around white women. And in fact, men don't get along with each other. So the male cops are just as likely to arrest white males as they are brown or black males. It's the women that they're protecting. It's the Jenny Paulsons of this world and the Lori Winters. So Lori Winter is privileged. She's never had to live on the fucking streets whatsoever. She's so privileged, she can actually make it look like the white male.
Now he wants to serve Pueblo as your next county commissioner.
Pueblo County is such a phenomenal place, from our fantastic weather to the river walk to our rich.
And by going through the struggle, I might not be powerful or influential or wealthy enough to help you out. I'm not going to make your struggle any more difficult. I'm not going to, I understand the struggle, and the struggle sucks, and it's hard for everybody. So why would you make the struggle more difficult? That's Lori Winter. Lori Winter makes the struggle more difficult, and she's proud of it. She's happy. She looks at the poor homeless people who don't have food, water, clothing, don't have a fucking chance in this goddamn world. You got to take shits on the fucking sidewalks and then try to take a sip of rainwater. Where are they eating? Where are they sleeping? How are they living? But she can look at the homeless with envy because she talks about how they have fancy sleeping bags. Look at their fancy sleeping bags. And then their privileged white males don't, I guess they get to sleep in the nice parts of the gutter. Is that what it means to be a privileged white male homeless person? Oh man, you're on top of society according to Lori Winter and Jenny Paulson. They hate the homeless people. They do not give a shit about the homeless people. So Jenny Paulson, she's a racist, and that's why she hates Charlotte Perez, because she's a stupid, shitty old racist. But Jenny Paulson is who white society protects. And she's an asshole. She don't give a goddamn fuck about anybody but her own fucking self. She don't give a shit about her own BO, right? Going around spreading her BO all over the damn place. But that's why Jenny Paulson, the main reason why she hates Charlotte Perez, the main reason why Jenny Paulson hates Charlotte Perez is because Charlotte Perez actually believes in something. Jenny Paulson, the stinky old dumbass, big old piece of shit, worthless bitch, she don't believe in anything. She believes in nothing. So if we have a society that's protecting just white women just for the sake of protecting white women, nah, that's bullshit, because everybody should get the same privileges and protections, and if we're not all getting the same protections, then we have a broken society.
Culture and history, and I wish to help Pueblo County fulfill its true potential, and I need your help and your vote to do that. Thank you very much.
Of the pecking order of where everybody is, white, brown, black, old, young, rich, poor, male, female, white woman, you're on top. You're on top. Don't let anybody tell them any fucking different. They're on top. Yeah, okay. So enough about that. Lori Winter, something actually I agree with about her. She gets, the waters, stirs the waters, and she might actually have a decent chance of getting this stupid thing. So she wants to ban pit bulls. I think it's a great idea. We should ban pit bulls in the city. Why the fuck do you got a pit bull dog? What's more important, have a novelty pet or your children getting eaten up in a day because some shitty asshole people turn their obedient slave friend pit bulls into foaming at the mouth, rabies-infested psychos, and then one day those shitty asshole dogs found a weak spot in the fence and then ate that 3-year-old homeless kid up? What do you want? You want a dog that goes around eating your children, or do you want to actually want to call it a Democrat policy or a Republican policy, maybe just an American policy? So Lori Winter's an all-American who doesn't give a shit about the homeless. Who in Pueblo City gives a fuck about the homeless? Nobody did. I guess maybe Mark Ayla, but he's working on getting a shelter. Hasn't got one yet, but we haven't had a shelter in Pueblo City since what? The fucking beginning? Since the Native Americans killed all those Mexicans in the massacre, Fort Pueblo massacre in, 1854? So, did we have a homeless shelter then? No, I guess we did. We haven't had a homeless shelter the entire time that Pueblo City has been in existence. Yeah, you Christians are such good people. God, y'all forgot to build a homeless shelter, though. And so, there's no room at the end in Pueblo City. If Colorado City and Denver are shipping Pueblo, they're homeless, then it's a stupid move for the homeless because there's no homeless services. There's no shelters in Pueblo for anybody. The Pueblo Cityans hate the homeless just as much as they hate the sunflowers. Actually, they will protect. I lived in Pueblo City for a time, and the crime is out of control. It's like the Foot Soldiers with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first or second one. So it was just all night. Everybody's just all out running all over the place, just grabbing whatever the fuck they can grab from other poor people. They never go into the rich neighborhoods. So basically the east side and south side and Bessemer, they're eating themselves up. And what the fuck do middle white class women, what the fuck would they give a shit about the poor browns and the poor whites eating themselves alive? I bet you the people of Pueblo City, because sunflowers are illegal. You can't have a sunflower. You're raising sunflowers, you're allowed to citizens arrest your neighbor if you see them have a sunflower in their yard. That's a $500 fine, and they'll go to jail if they don't pay that fine. You cannot raise sunflowers in Pueblo City. But I think the people of Pueblo City actually protect the illegal sunflowers, dandelions, and goat head thorns more than their fellow human beings, more than their fellow Pueblo City, the ones that allow the criminals to run free, the ones that allow 25% of children to be impoverished, 18% of the population. 1 out of 5 people in Pueblo are poor. Lots of income, low income, inequality all over the place. But are we going to have a war on poverty? Are we going to try to pull ourselves out of this with solidarity and love and compassion? No. No, we're going to humiliate the homeless people when they walk by with a bunch of threatening pit bull dogs threatening to murder, kill, bite, do them damage, to hurt them in some way, shape, or form. So that's one good thing about Lori Winter's policy to ban pit bulls. You should ban those pit bulls. Fuck those pit bulls. They only represent a danger to the community. Why would you have a pit bull? To intimidate everybody else? Is that what you want, a pit bull, to intimidate everybody? So I am not against it. You should have a sensible, reasonable dog policy. Democrats will talk about reasonable gun policy, but no reasonable dog policy? Why dogs get more rights than human beings? Homeless people, they can't shit on the streets. Dogs shit all over the fucking place, right? Cattle shit all over the place. Right? You're supposed to put it in sewage if you're a human. You can't bathe anywhere. They have no services. They have no places for, and you're not allowed to go anywhere. You're not allowed to go in the creeks or the rivers or the trees or the forest. Where the fuck are you allowed to lawfully be if you don't have a place to go? In fact, all the national forest parks, I think that's exactly where the homeless people should go. The national parks, this land is your land, this land is our land. So, this is all supposed to be about Zach Swearingen. His phone number is 719-718-8086. Zach Swearingen for Pueblo@gmail.com. If you have any questions for him, he says, call us. Zach Swearingen apparently thinks he's 2 people. He's got some sort of triple nickel concert fundraiser, so give him some money so he can tax. You have Pueblo County, they have a commissioner's race, a county commissioner's race. Sal Pace is stepping down Mr. Marijuana, who put a moratorium on marijuana. He is stepping down for whatever reason. It's actually a good thing. It's a humble thing. It allows an open seat, allows new blood to jump in. And so the Democrat is Chris Wiseman and the Republican is Zach Swearingen. It's turning out to be a pretty close race. Who's going to win? I have no idea. My guess it seems like right now Chris Wiseman should have the advantage because Sal Pace is the Democrat and he's going to be the Democrat person that goes in there. But if he's just going to rest on his laurels and he's not going to embrace the term progressive, so what? If you're not a progressive, you're a regressive? We don't need any more of these regressive fucking assholes. So I was going to support Chris Wiseman. I'm not for sure right now, but I'm not going to support Zach Swearingen. Zach Swearingen, well, there's a lot of reasons, but he's a Republican. So first of all, are you a racist piece of shit? Hey, Zach, just know essentially what level of insanity is Zach Swearingen? From 1 to 10, how crazy is he? Okay, right? So he's a Republican. The Democrats are Republicans now, and the Republicans are just batshit crazy. They're just fucking out of this world crazy. So how crazy is Zach? Does he love Donald Trump? I want to know, how crazy does he idol worship him? I need to know this. On a scale of 1 to 10, would you adopt Donald Trump as your legally adopted father, Zach Swearingen? I do need to hear that you're not a racist, bigoted, low-life piece of shit. Walker Stapleton is running on the immigration thing, hating the immigrants, hating brown people. He's part of the KKK. These Republicans, they have got to distinguish themselves and prove that they're not fucking racist, because you need to denounce the KKK, the Nazis, the Confederates. Even Trump couldn't denounce the Confederates. He eventually denounced the Nazis and the KKK afterwards, but not the Confederates. Why can't you do
I oversee 6 divisions at the Department of Agriculture, including the Colorado State Fair. And so I'll spend a lot of time working at the legislature and working with other federal and state agencies on various issues that affect agriculture. Recently, I was down in Durango dealing with some of the issues with the Animas River down there.
The issue that he's known for, Zach Swearingen is pushing to get this baseball stadium. He believes in corporate welfare. So is that progressive Republicanism? So this Republican, he doesn't believe that the poor should get any welfare. None of the homeless should get any welfare. But you know who should get welfare? Big baseball team developers. They should get all of our fucking money. Let's just give them millions of dollars. Zach Swearingen, just really Republican in name only if he's in favor of corporate welfare. So he's all about corporate welfare, giving the Owls, that minor league team, what the fuck ever, all the money that they want to have. He is a Republican, so I need to hear, I mean, if he's for corporate, what kind of Republican are you, man, if you're for corporate welfare? Jesus. And then he has all these fundraisers, $18 a plate, $25 a plate for a plate of beans. And if you don't pay him $25 for a plate of beans, then fuck you and your citizenship. Only the wealthy can get this guy, right? He's trying to be all nice and respectful. But look, hey, man, let's just hang 10, man. Goes around wearing 70s outfits, right? Can't we just surf, man? Let's just surf and hang 10, man. He looks like he loves the 70s. But that's liberal America. The 60s and the 70s, that was hippies. That was Democrats. That was liberals. That was lefties. And you can't get more liberal than peace and loving and freedom hippies. So he wants to embrace the 70s and the surf and California culture. The thing I don't care about the fundraisers is that you're running for, it's a local position, so, you know, what, 50,000 people. So there's some people out there getting some money, right? You need some money to get some signs and shit. But I always resented that you're going to become my leader and you want me to give you money to become my leader. So if you're a Bernie Sanders, and I know you're a principled person that'll go in there and fight for the working class and for the homeless people, but if you don't give a flying fuck about the homeless, you ain't going to give a flying fuck about the poor.
Me to stay, but it seems like just a moment ago to me. But I've enjoyed every minute. Leaving the fair is bittersweet, but I still get to stay on the fair board, and whoever becomes the state fair general manager will be a direct report. So I'll still be involved in the fair, but I've taken on more and more of a bigger role at the Department of Agriculture.
Let's talk about that new position for you. And
Swearingen stomping grounds at the brass saddle. Zach Swearingen, he is also part of the planning commission. He's part of the zoning and planning commission. And he's a soldier, and he has a right to speak, and he has a right to an opinion, and he has a right to run, and let's see what he has to say. But when we talk about policy, right, I mean, why talk about policy, man, when you can just surf and hang 10, right? So if we actually just look at his policy, he's around the brass saddle, so that's his people. Who's closest around him? When he says call us, 719-718-8086, it's probably his wife, right? So who's Zach Swearingen? Who's his inner circle? Who does he actually represent? What is his actual policies? And that's what we need to talk about. So he's for corporate welfare. He seems to be 100% for John McCain, even though he calls Asians gooks. John McCain called the Asians gooks. Does Zach Swearingen find that acceptable that John McCain called the Why am I somewhat bitter? Yeah, somewhat a little bit bitter. He was my friend on Facebook, and we're not friends no more. I think he's a stuck-up snob. He deleted me because he don't like my views on John McCain. But, you know, for 2 years, I wanted to live in Pueblo, work, play in Pueblo, found a family. But apparently Pueblo City, the criminals, and there was just, nobody was on the same page. So he deleted me because he didn't like my views on John McCain. Is everybody in Pueblo County going to love John McCain? John McCain says that Asians are a bunch of gooks. You guys think that a bunch of Asians, that all those Asians are just a bunch of gooks? What about financing ISIS with weapons to fight Assad in Syria? You think we should give ISIS weapons? Doesn't that basically fly right in the face of our war on terror? We're supposed to fight the terrorists. Why are we giving weapons to terrorists? Which side are you on? You talk about treasonous sons of bitches. If you give weapons to ISIS and the terrorists, then you're fighting against America.
As the full manager, what were some of the great things that you saw that you feel very proud about that you brought forward?
You know, working with my facilities guy, Joseph Dean, who's retiring this year, we were able to bring in about $14 million worth.
John McCain financed ISIS with the weapons, give ISIS, he's the founding father of ISIS. John McCain, you know, helped make ISIS the formidable organization that it is today. John McCain thought that Asians were a bunch of gooks, right? That's what you guys think. Everybody wants to defend John McCain. Y'all love ISIS. You love the racism of John McCain. He also opposed Martin Luther King Day. You couldn't get bigger of a Jesus Christ-like figure. Who's better than, besides Gandhi, Martin Luther King? Is there anybody throughout all human history better than Martin Luther King and Gandhi? But John McCain opposed Martin Luther King. What the fuck? So does Zach Swearingen, is he against Martin Luther King? Is he for financing ISIS? Is he for calling Asians gooks? And then you know why the Vietnamese were shooting at John McCain and torturing John McCain? Because John McCain fucking invaded their goddamn country and he was bombing innocent peasant people. He probably killed over 100 Americans at the U.S. You invaded their fucking country, John McCain. That's why you got tortured for 5 years. You didn't get tortured in Vietnam for me. That didn't help me whatsoever. And it was because of the peaceniks, because of the anti-war movement that John McCain was even able to get out and be free today. So, yeah, great job, peaceniks. Next time, you know, I don't know. You got to get them some programs or something because John McCain had PTSD all the way until the end. He also may have killed over 100 Americans at the USS Forrestal explosion. So somebody's going to have opinions that he's not going to like, but just to delete people just because whatever the fucking reason. So this is a lesson of perception. You know, when I liked him, he goes out there and he does that dance in the 70s thing, and I thought he'd be cool, right? Oh, look, you know, it's crappy, it's shitty dancing, but he at least got out there, right? He put himself out there. He comes in dressed all 70s, got those nice, you know, big old boots with those big old heels on. Looked like he was about to actually after the Facebook drama, which you're going to be my friend and not be my friend because of John McCain, whatever. I have, you know, people do good and bad things, and if you agree with all the bad shit that John McCain has done, go fuck yourself. So, you know, we're supposed to get exactly, think of Zach Swearingen as that dancing man. We're supposed to get excited about him. He looks like he's 70s. He loves the liberal culture that Democrats and liberals has created for him, but he sucks. He's for welfare only for the corporation. He's boring, all that flash and flare, and he couldn't dance worth a shit. He did, you know, like this is stupid, and just like, oh my God, man. You know, goat heads could dance better than Zach. So apparently he was, you know, fighting for my freedom, but since he's on the planning commission, he's on the planning and zoning. He restricts everybody's uses, what they could do with their land. There's a abandoned house right outside of Pueblo City that they weren't allowed to use. So I have the freedom to hate John McCain. He's on the planning commission. I think when I buy land, I have a right to do what I want on my own land, but he apparently thinks that it's his land. And I don't get freedom on my land, no freedom of speech. He can't tolerate people that have different opinions than himself. Apparently not. Apparently Zach is only for his own freedom, but not yours. So he did mention affordable housing. I'll give him credit for that. He says we need to have better affordable housing. He had this one crazy idea about taking Fort Carson. He wants to relocate Fort Carson down here. So, you know, he wants to bring, you know, it just seems like a crazy, leave Fort Carson where it's fine where it's at. I don't know why don't we have our own forts here? So there's a lot of poor folks, Business owners hate the poor naturally because they can't buy shit, so they're useless for their businesses. He's not going to do shit about poverty. Zach Swearingen isn't going to do shit about the homeless. He's not a progressive. He very much is a regressive. He's
moment that's coming up?
Well, you know what I was thinking at the time is they probably had a lot of people turn them down, but I'm grateful for the opportunity.
In spite of there being no recycling centers, no homeless shelters, no affordable housing anywhere, plenty of heroin needles, all the goat heads you could dream of, Zach owns a firing range. He's a Republican. He's all about corporations. He don't care about the people. He's a right-wing Republican, loves the Second Amendment. I'm pro-Second Amendment too. But how, when it comes to priorities, you can't eat guns and bullets. You can't get educated with guns and bullets. You can't get health care with guns and bullets. Well, if you're John Q, you could get some health care with guns and bullets. So what is Zach Swearingen going to do with the Second Amendment in Pueblo County? Is he going to pass all the guns and bullets out to the children? Right? They don't have a homeless shelter. They don't have a home. No place to recycle the recyclables. Don't have nothing to eat. But we do have the all-important firing range that you could use for $100 an hour, whatever he charges, to help Republicans fuck over more poor people and homeless people. Zach Swearingen owns a firing range. He has a platform. He has ideas that are put out there. So it looks like Zach Swearingen is going to get the momentum, and he's going to overtake and beat Chris Wiseman, because Chris Wiseman, he's just resting on, hey, I'm a good man, and I'm a Democrat, and here's a few ideas. No, we need something better than that. We need to know that you're going to be a great fucking man, and you're going to kick ass and take names for us. When you go there and work with the other two guys, are you going to be their bitches, or are you going to tell them what to do? We need good representation. So the District 2 of Pueblo County, this is just as important as the mayor's race, if not more important, because nobody's paying attention to the Chris Wiseman versus Zach Swearingen race. But they should. They should pay attention to it. There's firing ranges all over the place. So Huerfano and Kit Carson County got firing ranges too. So don't think that only Pueblo County offers those vital services. So just because you didn't like my opinion of John McCain, I'm not a supporter of arming terrorists to go fight Assad. No, I don't want to give American weapons to ISIS or to Al-Qaeda, to anybody else. No, fuck that. I don't want to play that game. Fuck ISIS. Fuck the Al-Qaeda. Terrorist sons of bitches. We're in a war on terror. Those are our fucking enemies. If we're giving weapons to our fucking enemies, so fuck John McCain for founding ISIS. And it says on his website that he'd listen, but I call bullshit on that, right? So he's a Republican, but he believes in corporate welfare. He says he's not really a Republican. He's on the Planning and Zoning Commission. He fought for our freedom, but then he's taken away everybody's freedom to do with our land as we please, as we see fit. So, if you don't vote for Zach Swearingen, he could ruin your life with a bunch of zoning restrictions. He could fuck up your life. The Planning Commission is one of the most important boards in Pueblo County. It's one of the most, I would say, I put it right there at the top. Right there, it's right below the 3 county commissioners. So the 3 county commissioners don't want to decide about the zoning board. The Planning Commission could stop anything from even unanimous government. There's 3 county commissioners that run all of Pueblo. 3 county commissioners, 3 county kings who run over everybody. So there's, in the very beginning, when you decide if you wanted 3 or 5 county commissioners, it depended on population. 70,000 was the threshold. If it was under 70,000, you only got 3 county commissioners. If it was over 70,000, you got 5 county commissioners. Pueblo County has 160,000. They have more than double 70,000 people. 3 people represent 70,000. Bullshit. Let's give at least 5 representatives. I would be in favor of getting 5 county commissioner representatives to expand the 3 county kings to 5 county kings and queens. And then I also believe in a unanimous government. 3 people should be able to agree on every single thing. If they don't, let us sit here and work it out. Why are you against it? Is there some compromise? Is there something else that we could do here? So 5 people, 3 people, 5 people, we should be able to get a unanimous government. But if just 2 people are bullying 1 person, in democracy, I believe more representatives for the people is better for the people. Having 5 county commissioners would be better than just having 3. Tyranny is averted because there's 3, but 3 could become tyrannical, right? 5, I think, is less likely. Tyranny is less likely to happen, and 1 can become stronger. It depends on your, charisma too, right? One of the 3 could be the tyrant, or one of the 5. So you can't ever really predict people's personalities, but that's something that both Chris Wiseman and Zachary Swearingen, Chris Wiseman, right, because he's a wise man, and Swearingen because he swears in Jens, I don't know, but he can make the argument that they have a better working relationship with Garrison Ortiz and Terry Hart. Those are the two left. The two county commissioners of Pueblo are Garrison Ortiz and Terry Hart. Who's going to work with Garrison and Terry better? Is it going to be Chris Wiseman or Zach Swearingen? And then you could also make the argument who's going to hold them accountable, who's going to make sure that they are, pinching pennies and being. Swearingen, when I heard of the name Swearingen, the only time I've heard of the name Swearingen is from a TV series called Deadwood. Al Swearingen was the bad guy. Fuck Al Swearingen. Al Swearingen could kiss my fucking ass. And actually he had to pull those stones. He had, some gallstones or something they had to pull right through his dick hole. So fuck Al Swearingen. If he looks up to Al Swearingen, that is no good. But this crazy, hang-tin crazy dude, we're supposed to believe he's not hopped up on steroids and crack and smack and devil's breath out of Colombia or that crocodile out of Russia. Does Zach Swearingen even understand the three branches of government? I bet he doesn't. He keeps talking about how he's going to support the police, but really he's the check over the police. Can he admit that the police could do wrong? Or if you put on a badge, all of a sudden to err is human, but to be a cop is to be perfect and to never make a mistake? I want a county commissioner that will hold the cop.
Through a long list, Mike Salardino, great people who have helped us keep this fair right here in Pueblo.
Incredible. 2015 Colorado State Fair. What can folks expect when they come out this year?
Well, they're going to see a lot of improvements on the grounds that we've done as far as at the livestock pavilion. They can see. And so I'm looking forward to this new phase of my life. Takes me back to in the 80s when I worked for Senator Tim Wirth and did projects. Okay. And so it's very similar to that.
And I assume one of those components of this new job is working to advocate to keep the fair here in Pueblo, Colorado.
Well, the fair is exactly where it should be. It's been here for 143 years, 114 years right here. I've always had a great working relationship with the Chamber of Commerce. A lot of things we couldn't do here without Rod Slyhoff and his staff. The city of Pueblo, the county of Pueblo. This institution is here because of all those people who care so deeply about it, and that's why it's going to continue to be here.
Absolutely. We appreciate you taking time today. There's a lot of preparation going on here at the Colorado State Fairgrounds. Folks, stand by because just coming up in minutes, the 2015 Colorado State Fair Parade. And here's your Grand Marshal, Chris Wiseman. Thanks again. We appreciate your time today.
I appreciate it.
Stand by, guys. Parade's coming.
Here on these fairgrounds, and so, I'm looking forward to be continue to be an advocate for the Colorado State Fair, and this place has been a passion for me for the past 18 years, the last 11 as manager, and it's going to continue to be, along with all my other duties involved with the Department of Agriculture.
In that last 18 or even in that last 11?
Of improvements of state money here, water and sewer and new electrical systems. What I've enjoyed most is working with the people. The things we were able to accomplish here were partly or mostly because of the staff. And I worked with a tremendous group of people this whole time, both on staff and as board members, going back to Bob Jackson, Vince Vigil, now Art Bosworth, Bill Hibble, Dave Galley. I mean, I could go through. See some great on-grounds attractions. We got some great concerts this year, but more importantly, they can come and see what we do for 4-H and FFA kids across the state. In the last 5 years, we've put $2.3 million of junior livestock sale money and premium money into young people's hands across the state. And so that's what I'm most proud of, is our involvement with 4-H and FFA and continuing the legacy of agriculture in the state of Colorado.
That's phenomenal. And finally, but certainly not least, 2015 Colorado State Fair Parade, you will be the Grand Marshal. It seems very fitting on your way out as the General Manager. Your thoughts on this great bittersweet and what will you exactly be doing in that new position, and what are the challenges?
Well, mostly I'll do whatever the commissioner tells me to do. But